When it comes to concealed carry, is small or accurate the better way to go? Well, I made my decision with my Smith Wesson Bodyguard. Stay tuned to see what I decided. Hey folks, welcome back to 9mm Tuesday edition of Get on Target with Link. Today we are going to be talking about the Smith Wesson Bodyguard. Now I took this out to the range just the other day for the very first time, and I really didn't like it. I didn't enjoy shooting it in the least little bit. This is not a negative critique on the weapon itself. It's a great weapon. It's just so small. Was constantly aware of how tiny it was in my hand, how I didn't have a good solid grip on it. It felt angular and sharp in my hands, and it just was uncomfortable and unpleasant to shoot. Didn't enjoy it at all. Part of it may be I'm not enough of a shooter to be able to handle the weapon, as small as it is, comfortably. That may be on me, but for whatever reason, it wasn't fun. So what I decided was being able to shoot the weapon comfortably and not be distracted by its small size in my hand, and be more focused on the business at hand, which is shooting accurately. So we're going to grow the weapon a little bit today with two upgrades to this. These are really simple upgrades. These are not things that take skill. It's not a skill thing. One of them is ridiculously easy, and it's hardly it's a great upgrade, but it hardly requires any big effort. The other one's going to be a little bit more of a wrestling match, and you'll see what I mean as we get into it. But they're both going to grow the weapon just a little bit in different ways and make it technically less concealable. But at the end, we're going to test it out, concealing it on me, and we'll see if it's really that big a detriment. I think the upgrades in terms of handling are going to be dramatic. So let's get right into it and get started. Okay, so here's the Bodyguard, and this is the first upgrade that we're going to do. The first one is super simple. But first I want to demonstrate why we're doing this upgrade at all. When I take my normal grip on the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, what you'll see when I turn it over is that my pinky, it's not even touching the weapon. It's flying solo. That's not acceptable, at least not to me. I'm not enough of a shooter to make that a comfortable way to shoot this weapon. So what we're trying to do is give my pinky a home on the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. That's what this upgrade is going to do. Before we do that, we're going to make sure we've got a safe weapon. We're going to lock the slide back, check inside, make sure it's an empty chamber. In fact, it is. And we're going to take out the magazine, and we're going to put the weapon aside. We don't need it, because the first upgrade is to the magazine. Now, if you notice, the magazine, the base plate down here is pretty darn flat. It's got a little bit of a flange, but not much. And that doesn't give me enough room on the grip of the weapon to get my pinky on it. So we're going to replace this base plate. You might have seen me do this on the Glock 42 upgrades. It was a little bit more of a challenge there. That fits on a lot tighter. This one is really simple to slide off. When we turn this around and we look underneath, what we see is this little hole right here, and it's filled right now by a pin on a plate that anchors the spring that's inside the magazine. So when that pin clicks into that hole, that locks the base plate into place. Now removing this is so simple, we're not even going to use a tool. Just to demonstrate how easy this is, we're going to be using a chopstick. Okay? This is simple, guys. This is not high tech. So what we're going to do is we're going to take my chopstick and we're going to depress that pin through the hole and start to slide the base plate off. You see that? See it moving? Slide it off the magazine. Now, once it's begun, you can do this by hand. Watch this finger though, because what it's doing is it's covering the opening as I slide the base plate off. Now that base plate is gone. Underneath is this plate that anchors the spring. If I don't have my finger in place there, that is going flying. So make sure as you slide it off, you follow it with the other finger, okay? And keep it in place. Now, here's the new base plate. It's longer. We're going to slide that on, keeping that other plate inside depressed. And as we slide it into place, you hear it click? That was that pin clicking into the base plate and locking it in place. And now, this is what the magazine looks like. When I place that inside the weapon, now I got a place for my pinky. You see it? Boom. This immediately gives me a completely different feeling on this weapon. I feel I've got a hold of a gun. The difference is dramatic, and it's going to give you so much more confidence holding the weapon. Now, the downside, the weapon's now a little bit longer, and that might make it a little bit more of a challenge to conceal. We're going to find that out a little bit later after we do the second upgrade, but I think we can still make this pretty much disappear, but we'll find out. First upgrade's done, y'all. Moving on to number 2. Okay, so now we have a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard I can wrap my pinky around, but that did not change the fact that it still feels very angular. It's a single stack, very thin weapon, and it just feels just sharp, uncomfortable in my hands. It's a lot better with the pinky on board, but it's still not all there yet. So, the next upgrade we're going to do is we're going to install a Hogue grip on this. This is going to expand the grip a little bit, make it a little bit bigger, make it feel a little bit more robust and comfortable in my hand. This upgrade is going to be a little bit more of a challenge, though. We're going to be putting a little more work into this one, and that's what's coming up next. Now, the first thing that they ask you to do is take the plastic packaging itself and cut out a couple of 1-inch, as they call them, shoe horns. And that's what they're going to be, is shoe horns, which it's for the same purpose that you'd use them on a pair of shoes. So that's a little shoe horn. We're going to need 2 of them. What they want you to do is then fold them in half and make a V shape out of them. Can you see that? These are going to go inside of the grip, and they're going to be helping us to get it on. So we're going to make 2 of those. We've got our shoe horns. These are going to go inside the grip. But they're not going in there yet, because before the grip is ready for install, the next process is we're going to warm up the grip itself. Now, this can be done in boiling water or with a blow dryer. Now, warming the rubber makes it easier to stretch, and that's going to make it a lot easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break, and I'm going to be going and boiling my grip, and we'll be back. Okay, so we missed a little bit of that install. When I came back with my boiled grip, I was in such a rush to get things done. Technical error, didn't hit record. But this is what happened. It's not too technical, easy to describe. You take the boiled, warmed up grip, and you're going to put your fingers down inside it and stretch it. Stretch it in every direction you can. Stretch it for a little bit. Just get it loosened up a little bit. It's not going to move much. It's pretty darn tough. but just get it stretched a little bit. Don't do it up near the edges, because if you happen to crack it and rip it, you're going to throw that one away and start over again. So get your fingers down inside the grip and stretch it. Once you do that, you're going to take Windex and you're going to spray the handle of the gun and get it good and wet. Okay, the whole handle, you're going to get it good and wet. And then the grip itself with the two shoe horns in it that we cut out, you're going to spray that and get that good and wet with Windex. And then the wrestling match with the grip begins, and it looks like this. Okay, and then we're going to want to put the beaver tail side inside on there, keeping this in there as well, and stretch it so it goes over that end too, and get it on there. And now the wrestling match begins. We are pushing that thing on. It's tough. It's not easy. The Windex is going to make it a little slippery and help, but it's still going to be a bear. Oh, it's going now. It's starting to move. Got twisted a little bit, twisted back so it's in alignment. The beaver tail's right up against the top. I'm going to be honest with you, this has not been as bad as what I was anticipating. The next job is to get a pair of pliers. I'm going to stop for a second and get a pair of pliers, and we're going to pull those plastic pieces out. Now, I've got a pair of needle nose. I'm going to grab those plastic pieces that I created, try and get a grip on them. And one down, one's out. Now we're going to get the other one. Yank it out. Make sure it's back down in place. All that Windex is already dried off the weapon. And now we're going to take a magazine, place it inside, make sure I've got good clearance for the magazine, and I do. And now this feels like a gun. This is a completely different feeling weapon than I started with at the beginning of this video. This is a new gun. That's what it looks like. Now we got to see if we can conceal it. That's next. Okay, folks, for this experiment, we're going to be just using a little sticky holster, and we're just going to be tucking it down the pants, and then we're going to put the Bodyguard inside, just like that. And this is a fairly tight shirt, so there's a little bit of printing going on here, a little bit there. That is and it is because of the extension on the hand grip that you're seeing anything at all. But it's pretty darn subtle. I'm not seeing a whole lot going on here. I think I could go out and be pretty discreet this way, even with the bulked up grip and the extension on the magazine. This is still pretty concealable. It's appendix carry. Let's try another location. Going to put this in about 4 or 5 o'clock. and see how we're doing. Not too bad. It's right here, and it's really not showing much of anything. I think I could get away with this quite nicely, frankly. Moving it to cross carry. That's a giveaway. Now I have a distended belly button. I definitely have an outie going on here. So cross carry, that's not working. That is definitely not working. But once again, let's get to the side, see how we're doing there. Not too bad, a little bit, but again, tight shirt. This is still pretty darn discreet. I don't think anybody's going to peg that unless they're really looking for it hard. I guess you could see it a little bit right there, but that would be a tough get. So all in all, I think the trade-off of having a weapon that I'm going to feel a whole lot more confident in shooting should the need arise, that's a heck of a good trade-off. So, small or accurate? I picked accurate, and I'm glad I did. So that's it for 9mm Tuesday on Get on Target with Link. Hope you enjoyed it. This is a different gun. This is a completely new weapon than what I had at the beginning of this, and I'm pretty excited to take it back onto the range and see if it's a much more enjoyable weapon to shoot. I know it will be. In my hand, it's a completely new weapon. Totally new weapon. So, if you enjoyed this, I hope you did. Like it, subscribe, ring the bell. You know what to do. There's going to be a lot of this stuff. I've got things on holsters coming up, different types of holsters and holster reviews. I've got gun reviews, shooting tips, grip, how to grip the weapon, all kinds of stuff coming up. I don't want you to miss it, so hit that notification bell, okay? So until the next time we meet here on Get on Target with Link, see ya.